Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. Today is February 7th. How's it going? My name is Angela. I am a front-end developer and a software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. And we have some folks in the chat this morning. Good morning. Krishna is here. And Clash of Clans is here. Hello. Good morning. We also have Gogo Elmo and Rahul, both mods in the chat. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It's been a tough week. So if you've been here before, this is a front-end development and software engineering channel. This is not a channel about my dog or my life, but my dog and my life have very much been front and center this week. We had a rough week. I've had to cancel the stream twice. I had to cancel a day last weekend and I had to cancel Thursday. And I rarely cancel, but my poor little dog has had a very nasty flare-up of something called pancreatitis. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about what pancreatitis in a dog entails. I'll let you Google it if you're interested, but it was a wild week. It was dramatic. It included a trip to the emergency vet at 3 a.m. It was very expensive. It was a lot. So I had to cancel and take care of her, but she's doing great. Yesterday was like a full rest day. Thank God. Oh my God. We just napped and relaxed and watched garbage on YouTube and Apple TV all day, and it was fantastic. So anyways, we're doing much better, and I'm glad to be back this weekend. I really want things to get back to normal. So here we are. And it looks like Clash of the Clans had a couple of messages deleted in the chat. So Nightbot is doing its job. I had a couple people here who are telling me to get started and start the stream. My response to that is, hold your effing horses. I'll start when I'm good and ready. We're chill here. We're serious about front-end development. This is a vanilla channel where we do vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But this is also practice time, and it's fun, and it's chill. We're serious, yes, but sometimes I start a few minutes late, and sometimes I chat a little bit at the beginning. And if you don't like it, F off. You can go someplace else. If you want to just hang out and relax and have a chill day, stick around. Do me a favor, like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we actually are kind of fun. And I'm nice. I'm actually really nice, but I'm also gonna tell you to buzz off if you're acting like a jerk in my chat. So just chill. Don't worry about it. You're doing you're fine. Don't worry about it. Just hang out. Just hang out and relax, okay? Malik says, "Ooh, diamond studs today. Nice." Thank you. This was a graduation gift to myself when I finished graduate school the second time. And yeah, we did have a hard week. So we did have a tough week. So I've been a dog owner. Heidi is my third dog. I've been a pet owner my entire adult life. So for over 25 years, I've had a dog. This is only the second time I've had to, to be clear, there have been many middle of the night accidents. That's just how things go with pets. This is only the second time that I got up in the middle of the night and I was like, holy shit, I am literally outgunned by what's going on right now. We have to go to the emergency vet. And, that was a good choice because the emergency vet was pretty alarmed at how things progressed and how rough a shape Heidi was in when we got there. But my God, they were amazing. They took such good care of her. They gave her pain medication, they gave her fluids, we did a full set of labs, they did x-rays, they just did everything. I was like, just do everything that you need to do. They really did such a good job taking care of us. So, okay, Clash of Clans. Yeah, just chill. It's all good. Do you know React? I don't. I've never used React. So, and Rizzy is here. Welcome, Rizzy. Happy to have you. Rizzy says, doing things in pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript helps me get out of framework hell sometimes. If the jobs would not require me to use frameworks, I wouldn't use them. You know, they're totally appropriate. I mean, I think about my last job where we used Vue. There's lots of stuff where I was like, there are so many things that I would not want to do with vanilla JS that frameworks are really, really good for, especially if if you have to integrate JavaScript functionality with the content management system, which I had to do at my last job. Frameworks are great. The way you can sort of feed data from a CMS into a framework type functionality. But then we also, and it was something I inherited when I started working there. We also did things with Vue where I was like, why are we using Vue for this? This could totally be vanilla. But frameworks are good for a lot of like really heavy functionality. So, oh, and Malik says they were asking, what are you going to do today? But Nightbot took the 3 emotes as spam for no reason. Oh, sorry about that. How old is Heidi? She's 10. She turned 10 in December. So she's officially a senior dog. She's considered a small to medium-sized dog. She only weighs 30 pounds. So there's no reason to believe that she couldn't continue to have 2 or 3 or 4 healthy more years. My last 2 Shelties made it to around 14 or 15 before they went to doggy heaven. So yeah. She is doing really, really well now. She is. So she's just, she's chilling. She's just hanging out with me here. So, and Clash of the Clans says, I usually write code HTML, CSS, Tailwind, and Sass, Vanilla, and React. Yeah, I'm a Sass user. I've been using Sass for over a decade, although I've been doing more Vanilla this last probably 6 or 7 months. But I'm definitely a Sass user. I've never used Tailwind. So, yeah, I've never used Tailwind. I've worked on projects with Bootstrap and Foundation, but I've never built anything from scratch using a CSS framework. I've always done it from scratch. And Clash of the Clans says, I am learning React, Query, TypeScript, and Next.js. Yeah, I know that that's a very popular tech stack. And it's also a marketable tech stack. So I know that those frameworks and this combination that you're describing here is really important for getting a job. So if you're new here and you're like, gosh, like, why is she only doing vanilla? Well, it's just because I think that devs are forgetting that vanilla is still important, and that the browser renders those 3 things natively. And I just want people to have like a good, well-rounded background. You know what I mean? Do me a favor. Look at these fancy overlays that I made. I made these overlays this week when we weren't in crisis mode, and I'm quite proud of them. Do me a favor, just like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I would definitely appreciate it. Another thing that I'm working on in 2026 is I would really like to start growing my Instagram account. And my Instagram account is, I would call it dev adjacent. I've tried to do more dev content on Instagram, and I kind of understand now that that's not really what Instagram is for. Also, people ask me to do more lifestyle or cooking content. And I tried doing some vlogging this past summer. I do not enjoy the process of vlogging at all, but I love to cook and I do genuinely like lifestyle content. And it has finally occurred to me that Instagram and Reels are perfect for that. So I would say that I'm going to be working this year towards making my Instagram a little more robust and very dev lifestyle adjacent. So if you're interested in that type of thing, follow me on Instagram. I would really love to grow my audience on Instagram. Also, that's a great place to get a hold of me. So if you have questions or you want to talk to me about something related to the stream or front end, just send me a DM on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Listen, I am a doom scroller like nobody's business. I'm on Instagram every day. So send me a DM over there if you want to chat. So I'm always around. And Rizzy says, the thing about Vue, let me see here, let me turn these off. The thing about Vue is that it is progressive and closer to vanilla when it comes to React and the, okay, I have to start over again. Yeah, the thing is Vue is progressive and closer to vanilla. And when it comes to React and the current favorite stack of AI like TypeScript, Vercel, etc., the setup for small projects gets complex. Yeah, I believe you. And that must be why I like Vue so much. Is that the reason I like Vue, is that it mimics vanilla? Because that I've never used React. I've used Angular, but I do like Vue. So I've said this a couple of times. If I had to pick something, I might pick Angular because Angular feels like a feels just very CMS-y to me. I don't know how to describe that. It just feels very CMS-y to me. So what time is it? It is 10:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. And Rizzy says, this week I found out that most people in China use Vue, like 55% over React, while the whole world chooses otherwise. Fewer people use Vue in the rest of the world. That's interesting. Clash of the Clans says, I am learning English. It is hard working. Well, stick around. I only know English, so you'll get lots of English here. And we have, there are lots of people in the chat where English is their second language. So if you need practice, I'm happy to have you. I'll do my best to interpret what you're saying and answer questions. Yeah, I knew Rahul would like that food vlog. I love to cook, and I only cook. I don't eat out and I don't order food. I only cook. So yeah, TikTok might increase traffic, but then I would have to be on TikTok is the problem. So I feel like TikTok is like a Gen Z platform. To me, Reels is very millennial, Gen X, and I am Gen X. So it's unlikely you're going to find me on TikTok. You're going to see me on Reels. I really like it. So please suggest some YouTube channels where I can learn backend development in depth, everything about backend. Well, listen, I'm not a backend developer, so I would be hard pressed to give you YouTube channels where you could go do that. Unfortunately, I'm a front-end developer. I've been a front-end developer for 12 and a half years, so I'm very front-end focused. My first thought is maybe you could try Traversy Media. Rayhan is here. Hello, welcome Rayhan. We're happy to have you. Rizzy says, I recently started cooking for myself to get healthier. Would love to get recipes from you. I could cook every day. I know the basics, but I have to measure everything and look up small things. Yeah, I'm going to start doing a lot more content about cooking. So I can tell you my favorite things to eat right now because I am also in a healthy mode and I'm all about whole foods right now. I eat a lot of rice, so I have rice on hand all the time. I like ground beef. I like tomatoes. I like cabbage. My cooking right now is very, very basic, but it is so delicious. So I think my favorite thing to cook right now is I found this reel. Should we look at it? Are you interested in this? Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to show you exactly what I found. I've made it twice already, and I freaking love it. Let me see. Gosh, let me see if I can find it. Where's the things that I repost? Let me see if I can find it. See, desktop is a little bit different. Let me see if I can just find it on Instagram here. I'm going to show you this because I think you would like it. Yeah, desktop doesn't really show the things that you repost. And how can I search? Explore. So I bet if I Boy, Instagram really. Oh, here we go. Search. Duh, Angela. Okay. So I want cabbage roll soup. Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is it right here. Cabbage roll soup recipe. Hang on one second.
Start off, just go ahead and add your chopped cabbage to your crock pot with some diced onion, and then 2 pounds of ground beef with some salt, pepper. I went in there with some Kinder's buttery garlic and herb. This is like my favorite seasoning. Then I hit it with some dill and some red pepper flakes. After you have that in there, add some garlic, add some tomato sauce, and then give it a good mix. And then add in your beef broth. I used the whole container. Cook it on high for about 3.5 hours. After that, you're going to add a cup of instant rice. Stir it around and cover it and cook it for another half hour. And then it'll be looking like this. Go ahead and mix it up and then serve, man. It's super bomb. It's super easy to make. I'm definitely going to be making it again, like I said. Add some sour cream on there, and it's super fire. I'll put the full recipe down below. You guys can just screenshot that and follow me for more. Tonight for dinner was crockpot cabbage roll soup, and if you have never made it, it's your side to make it because it's super bomb. It's super easy to make. I make it all the time. I'm definitely going to be making it again. Let me show you guys how I make it. To start off, just go ahead and add your chopped cabbage to your crock pot with some diced onion, and then 2 pounds of ground beef with some salt, pepper. I went in there with some Kinder's buttery garlic and herb. This is like my favorite seasoning. Then I hit it with some dill and some red pepper flakes. After you have that in there, add some garlic, add some tomato sauce, and then give it a good mix. And then add in your beef broth. I used the whole container. Cook it on high for about 3.5 hours. After that, you're going to add a cup of instant rice. Stir it around and cover it and cook it for another half hour. And it'll be looking like this. Go ahead and mix it up and then serve, man. It's super bomb. It's super easy to make.
So this is something I've been making lately. It is so good. I make it a little bit different, but about the same. So this is the type of stuff that I love to cook. So just, I would say hop on Reels or even on TikTok and just look for just look for easy recipes like that. It's just so good. Clash of the Clans says, "What is your level, senior or middle?" I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've been doing this for 12 years, probably senior. So anyone tell me where I can learn back end. Yeah, Rahul's got some good suggestions here in the chat. So yeah. Rayhan says, "Yeah, me too. I can understand your English so perfectly. Do you use an accent or is it standard American accent you speak now?" I don't, are you asking me? I think you're asking me since I'm the one talking. I think that I have a standard American accent. I don't know. Can somebody like Malik or Rahul, you guys tell me. Malik also lives in the US. So I think, Malik, would you agree that I have just like a normal accent? I think a lot of people tell me that I have a strong Midwestern accent, but I think it's normal. So for rapid organic discovery, TikTok wins. So if you are open-minded toward it, then you should really open a TikTok account. I'll think about it. TikTok. I know you're right, though. So Rayhan says, "I can't understand every accent, but for the last two, I've started watching YouTube contents that are in English, mostly Americans, and today I can understand most of them without subtitles." Oh, that's good. Yeah, try it. It's so basic. The recipe is so basic. Which company do I work for? Well, right now I'm self-employed. So I used to work for a university in St. Paul, Minnesota. But I left there about a year ago. So I'm self-employed now. I just do contracting, consulting, freelancing, and content creation. So, and Rizzy says, also recently I've started learning data structures and algorithms in C. Woof. And if anything, it definitely builds my patience and my ability to predict what's going to happen before I run the code. That's a good, that's a good point. Data structures are not my strong suit, but of course I had to do all of that when I was in software engineering school. So I do have a software engineering degree, and I had to take Java and Python. And Java kicked my ass. Data structures and algorithms, that is not my strong suit. Clearly, my strength is building UIs, but it did give me a really good foundation being a self-taught developer. So, and Rizzy says you should try it, like write small functions and trace the output. It's going to skyrocket your problem solving skills. I know you're right. Like basic sorting, I tried it this week, and when I used C, it required me to be patient and mindful and really understand programming. I agree with all of those statements. The problem is that I don't like it and I don't enjoy it, but I know you're right. So I'm going to acknowledge that I know you're right. And Clash of Clans says, how well do you work with APIs? I do fine with APIs. So I haven't, admittedly in the last year since I left my job, I rarely use any APIs anymore. At my old job, we were a Salesforce organization, and we had a team of developers who just built APIs from our Salesforce data. And that was my job as a front end developer, was to use those APIs. Now, admittedly, I was not sending data. So we were only doing GET requests. I wasn't doing like sending data back to a database. So the API data, we were just pulling that in, doing lots of filtering, lots of sorting, things like that. Calendars, filters, sorters, sorting, things like that. So very heavy UI components using API data. And lots of if we were working on something new, I could tell the backend team how I want those APIs to be structured, and they would just build them to my specification. But we had a lot of legacy APIs also, where I spent a lot of time using JavaScript to massage that data. So it is what it is. It was a good experience. I learned a lot in that job. So, and Malik says, I have a standard accent. Just the difference is how you pronounce some words. Like you say frustrated instead of frustrated. Frustrated. Okay, fair enough. So Clash of Clans says, can you recommend working in America? I want to go. How much do front-end developers earn per year? Yeah, I'm not a good resource for getting a job in the US. Unfortunately, I'm not able to help with that. And salaries vary based on who you are, where you are, how much experience you have, right? And Rahul says, I can only tell the difference on heavy accents like British, Australian, American. Even then, I learned from watching movies and tutorials. So your accent for me is American. And I guess I don't even know this, Rahul. Have you been to the US before? Have you ever traveled to the US? I'm curious. You can decline to answer that question as well, obviously. So, but it occurred to me, I wonder if he's been here before. So, anyways, well, I suppose we can get started. But can I please just tell you how, if you are frustrated by the talking in the beginning, I love it. I love starting a stream and having people in the chat and talking to people who are here to hang out with me. It just makes me feel good. Also, I had a tough week. So it feels really good to stream and to have people here to just talk to. I mean, I have people in my life to talk to. I have my family and my friends, obviously. But it's also like, you guys are my friends too. And it's really nice to like start a stream. And yeah, we are going to get down to business and do some work, but also like just sit and chat for a few minutes. I just really appreciate that. So Clash of Clans says, I have 1 year of experience, for example. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything that I can tell you that you couldn't Google or ask ChatGPT. I'm not a good resource for helping people find a job or telling people what salaries they could expect. So, how much is the take home salary after taxes in the US, assuming that if a person earns 100K? Well, it depends on what state you live in because not every state in the US has state income tax. This is actually interesting. I will talk about this because we have federal taxes and we have state taxes. So I live in Minnesota and we have a very high income tax in Minnesota. So I pay taxes to the federal government and I pay taxes to the state of Minnesota. But we have several states in the US that don't have income tax. So I think Nevada, Texas, Wyoming, Florida, there's a handful of other states that don't have income tax. So it really depends on what state you live in. It also depends on how much your benefits cost. You really should take into account the amount of vacation time that you get, how much your company pays for health insurance. Usually it's a split. So in the United States, we don't have socialized medicine. We pay for our own health insurance and our own health care. Unless you are a low income individual that qualifies for medical assistance, most people, especially if you have a job, you are paying for your own health insurance. Your employer generally pays part of that and then you pay the other part of it. So you also have to pay like your social security. A lot of people pay for like long-term disability or life insurance. So it's not just taxes. It depends on the state you live in. It depends on the benefits that you elect. And yeah, I don't know. It just depends. So if I made $100,000 a year, I would probably expect to take home what would I expect to take home? Hang on, I can probably estimate this for you. No, that's not right. Times, oh. You might take home 70 or 75. So I would expect that if you made $100,000 on average, probably 30 to 35% of your salary would get withheld for taxes and social security and health insurance and all of that, very roughly speaking. So Rahul says, I can't even verbally converse in English without prefixing it with so. Not enough practice. It's one of the things that has made me less confident in applying for remote international jobs. Listen, I've never talked to you, Rahul, outside of the chat, but I've interacted with a lot of people in international positions, and I think you would probably be fine. Like, listen, based on how you type complete grammatically correct sentences into the chat, based on what I see you typing, I can't tell you what to feel, but I would be very confident based on how I see you communicating in writing that you would be just fine. And even if it was difficult at first, I bet with daily interactions like Zoom meetings, you would be fine in a matter of days or maybe even weeks at the most. I would not worry about you at all based on how I see you communicate. So Krishna's here. Hello, I like your content. Thank you. Rehan says, can you suggest some states with low tax and high paying salary? This question is so adorable. I don't mean to. If I knew, I would tell you. If I knew what those were, I would tell you. Trust me. Which is better for front-end developers, America or Britain? I have no idea. I honestly, I have no idea. New York Code is here. I'm back after a long time. Well, welcome, New York Code. We're happy to have you. And Rahul says I haven't been to the U.S. So, well, you'll make it here eventually. Yeah, it's a win-win. You get to practice with spoken English. So, I wouldn't worry about. I mean, Malik, you tell me. Come on, would you worry about Rahul and his ability to communicate in English at all? I wouldn't. So, uh, even you know it might be. I can understand it, it wouldn't take you long to build up that confidence, trust me. It would take you a few days, maybe a couple of weeks at the most, but based on how you communicate in the chat, I think you would be just fine. So that's just what I think. That's just what I think. Well, should we actually do some work? I mean, we don't have to. We could just watch Instagram Reels all day if you want, but you guys can do that on your own. So, okay. Here we are. Here we are. I don't even, I had such a crazy week. I don't even remember what we were working on last. I have no idea. I have no idea. And if you're looking for the GitHub repository, I do have it linked down in the chat. This project is called Scenic. Here is our QA. And by the way, there's no, like, I'm not in a time, there's no time limit on these projects. I try to get them done in about a month. But now that I'm streaming 4 days a week, we're getting things done really fast on this channel, and we wanted to try and get a little extra. We wanted to try and implement a few extra things here. So I'm not in like some sort of time crunch to get this done. We get it done when we get it done. We already have so much of this built out. We have our homepage completely finished and responsive, and that includes our header and our footer. So everything looks really great. Oh, we were going to set up maybe the subscription. I haven't had time to look at any MailChimp stuff, so we might not be able to do that today. I think that's something that I need to do offline to make sure that I have my account set up and ready for that. We built the contact page and the contact form. This is working. We hooked up Form Spree to the contact form. Everything, excuse me, everything is working here. And again, it's nice and responsive. And then we also built out our inner page, and we made sure that this is nice and responsive and looking good. So really, we have our 3 pages done. So I think the last thing that we need to work on is the blog page. Let's pull up our designs so we can see where we're at with some designs. So here would be the blog. So let's just start working on like getting the blog layout formatted. And we can get some sharing buttons at least built. We obviously are going to need JavaScript to do the sharing. I need something to be just a little bit chill today. So let's just do what we do best, or in my case, it's just like build a UI, right? And then let's get ourselves set up for tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow then we can get MailChimp hooked up and we can start working on these sharing buttons. We could also work on some of our decide what we want our animations to be, like on page load. We can update this header logo link. We can do a couple of these little busy things. I think I would also like to try to do a parallax. And you know where I think a great place to put a parallax would be is on our homepage. Because I do think our homepage is a little boring. So what if we put in a parallax section here in between the footer and this content section? And then maybe just did a parallax with like a nice call to action or something like that. I think that that would be really fun. And I know how to do what I call kind of the low rent version of a parallax where you just have a fixed background. But I know that a true parallax is where the scroll speeds are different. So the foreground scrolls, I think, faster than the background scrolls. So let's try to do a true parallax. I don't think we're going to get to it today, but we could definitely do that. We could work on that tomorrow. So, and Malik says, responding to Rahul, I think you would do great. Accents are very normal here. All interactions I have had with people are patient and understanding with accents and those who are learning English. I totally agree. We have people from other countries everywhere. It's very, I mean, it's totally normal. And just in my own day-to-day experience, even to just go to Target or Walmart or Trader Joe's and interact with people who are from different countries and have accents and who are still learning English. It's so normal here. So if you were an international hire on one of my teams, it wouldn't faze me at all. So I'll just shadow from movies to learn. I have a bad habit of doing accents. It's cringy. Well, I mean, maybe, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there, Rahul. Maybe Malik and I can help you. Maybe we could do some Zooms and help you practice. I mean, hello, you have American friends now. Malik and I, we are your American friends. Why don't you let us help you sometime? Malik, you tell me what you think of that. Do you like the heavy animated websites from the awards site? Do you want to build something like that? I don't enjoy heavy animations, but I do want to implement some animations. So maybe we can do that today as well. Rayhan says, I can speak an American and a British accent almost fluently, but after a certain decibel, it'll automatically go away. Interesting. It can be uncomfortable, but I believe in you, whatever you choose to do. Movies work well too. Yeah, I don't know. I really feel, Rahul, like you have two American friends right now who maybe might be willing to help you. I'm volunteering Malik for something that he didn't ask to be volunteered for, but I'm just saying maybe we could help you. So I've got a Zoom account. Maybe we could help you learn, get comfy. Okay, let's just start working on our blog page. Where are we at here? We're like 40 minutes in here. And I don't know if I'm going to go the full 2 hours today because I just don't, I'll just be honest, I just don't feel like it. So I think let's just spend the next hour working on what this blog should look like. So just for reference, here's our page and our contact. Oh, and we also need to make sure that our hero is blurry. So let's put that on the list here. Make sure the hero images have blur. Of course. We're your friends. Rayhan says, my American accent has improved because of listening to your live. That's awesome. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. Should we try to plan a stream maybe where we get some people together for a Zoom and just chat about things? I'm totally down for that. You guys tell me. You guys tell me what you want to do. I think maybe, I have a lot of people in the chat who are learning English and trying to get comfortable with English. And I do have people message me sometimes on Instagram saying, like, how could, watching me helps them with English and how could they get better at practicing English? So maybe that's something that I could help you guys with if you want. I mean, that's not difficult for me. I love to talk. So let's keep talking about it. Okay, good. Malik says, sure, why not? Well, let's talk about it. Maybe we can plan something that might be fun, right? And then maybe we could meet some of the people who are, you know, hanging out in the chat, right? We could put some names and faces together. I think that would be fun. Not everybody is comfortable on camera. I respect that. So, okay, so I think we need to take out this main section hero. We don't need this for the blog, right? And of course, I just copied the home page. So where are we here? So let's take out that main section and make a new section with just a kind of a plain image here. I want to completely start over. So I'm going to take that out. And then we have this grid. I'm going to take these article items out. And then I'm just going to put some lorem ipsum in here. So we would have an image. This would be our H1 right here. So let's make sure that this H1 in the header. And Rayhan says, yeah, sure, I'm down for a Zoom chat. Do you have an Instagram group or something? Well, funny you should ask. You might have missed it when I said that I was trying to grow my Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, would you be so kind? You can also DM me over there. Maybe we could start a little group with people. Yeah. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Send me a message and let me know who you are. If your YouTube name is different from your Instagram handle, just so I know who is who. And then maybe we can start a little chat over there. I used to have a Discord. I'm not ever going to do a Discord again. I don't like Discord. I don't want to be on Discord. The community is here on YouTube, and then Instagram is the best place for me to talk to people if I'm not online or if I'm not streaming. So let's see here. Okay. So actually, I think this section would be fine. I don't think we need this class grid. We can change this to a section because it's going to have a heading right here. And then let's make sure that this is a div. It was an H1 on the home page, but it's a div on the inner pages. So now we've got our main, our section, and then I'm just going to add a class here that says blog. So I've got this extra class if I need to do anything. And then I feel like we've got an image, an H1, and like some meta data about the blog post, right? So we'll do a figure with the class of figure. We'll do an image, and I'm just going to grab one of these. Images, optimized. Just grab this. Placeholder text. And then we'll have an H1 with the class of primary heading. And what is Nordic sky at night? And then let's do a div with a class of meta. So like metadata about the post, right? So we'll say posted in blog on September 1st by. Okay. So I'm going to put these in spans. So this would be posted, well, posted by, posted in. So if this was a content management system, this would probably be like a category, right? So span with a class of category. I'll say blog category. On, and then we'll use the time element, and time is by default an inline element. So this would be September 1st, 2014. How much you want to bet that that is the date that I made this? September 1st, 2014. So 15 and a half years ago, about. Yikes. Wait, is that right? 15, wait a second. 12 and a half years ago? Hang on. Math, Angela. 26 minus 2014. 11 and a half years ago, I made this. Yikes. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, one moment. One moment, guys. Hang on. Okay. Somebody is texting me. Okay, hang on. Thank you, Malik. Malik put up the link to my Instagram. Appreciate that. Rihan, line 49, placeholder text. Yeah, that's the placeholder for the alt image. Alt text placeholder. Oh, placeholder. Yeah, placeholder text. Rahul says, I love to talk as well. Not going to lie. I could talk all day long and not run out of things to talk about. Me too, if you hadn't noticed. I'm a talker. So, okay. September 1st, 2014. So our date time would be 2014, 09, 01, right? Year Is it year, month, day? I think that's what it is. By administrator. And then we would say by span class. I would say the blog author, right? Administrator. Actually, I'm just going to change this to me. You're not supposed to use things like admin anymore. So this would be like our meta line about the blog post. And then this would be the blog itself. And then we would have some social sharing buttons. So let's do some social sharing buttons. So here's the wrap. I feel like we could just do a div and we could say social sharing. And we'll do, I did write placeholder, yes. Yes. I know that that's technically not correct. I don't actually know what this image looks like. So let me look at the image and I will update the alt text. So we could also make this technically social sharing. Is it navigation? I feel like it's navigation. So maybe we could make this a nav element. Is that what we called? What did we say this? Social navigation, social nav. This is social sharing. And we could give this a class of sharing links. And again, I don't know what these links are yet. We're going to build those out with JavaScript, make them dynamic. And I have them, I don't need to, it's going to be much simpler than you think it's going to be. It's not going to require an API. I can tell you now, you don't need an API to build social sharing links. Those links are generally very straightforward, and you just need a little bit of JavaScript to pull the link for the page and to grab the title. So that's why making sure that we have clear elements and clear classes for our title is going to make that a lot easier to make this dynamic and to pull this from the page, right? And what we might do is, I'm thinking about the best way to approach this because it's not a true content management system. But there's lots of ways dynamically to grab content off the page and make it dynamic. There's lots of ways to do it. It'll be fun. Trust me. Trust me, bro. Right? Okay, so what do we want our social sharing links to be? Facebook, X. You can't, there's no social sharing for Instagram because you don't embed links. Email, print, like a print button. I don't know, Pinterest? Should we do a Pinterest? What else? We're gonna do these 5. And if you have other ones that you like to do, once you see how I do it, you'll get an idea for the approach that you can take. If you think my approach is good, you'll get a clear idea of my approach. Do we have SVGs for all of these? So we have Pinterest, we have X, we need Facebook, we need an email, and we need a print. So let's grab those. grab a printer. We did a project where we did a print style sheet and we learned how to do like a print window. So we'll do that again. Maybe we could do a media query for our print styles and then email. I'll do this. Oh, look at that. It practically styles itself. Nice. Okay. So I think this is the case. In this case, so what would these say? These would, so if it was Facebook, it would be share. If it was X, it would be post. If it was Pinterest, it would be pin. Email is email. Print is print. So maybe we say, so if this is Facebook, part of the, we're not going to show all the text, but we need to show some of the text. So span, SR only. Let's put, we can put the icon first. And the SVG is going to be aria-hidden true. And then we would say share, and then on we would say share on Facebook. So share on Facebook is read out as to the screen reader, but the user is only going to see the word share. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. And then we have, here's our X. And this is aria-hidden true. And then this would be post on X. On X is only read out to the screen reader. It's hidden on screen. So it would just be the icon and the word post. And then here's Pinterest. Oh, I suppose LinkedIn. We could do LinkedIn. Yeah, we'll add LinkedIn. Aria-hidden true. And this would be pin on Pinterest. And I'm going to make I'm going to capitalize this. Same with this. I'm going to capitalize this. Capitalize this. And capitalize that. Share on Facebook. Post on X. Pin on Pinterest. And then let's do, we can do LinkedIn. And this would be probably post on LinkedIn. Or maybe share on LinkedIn. Link on LinkedIn? I don't know. We'll do share on LinkedIn. And then I think we want to do, let's do email. And then I don't think we need any screen reader text for this. I think we can just say email. And then we'll do a print. Yeah, I really enjoyed the project we did a few months ago where we made a printable resume web page. I really liked that, doing the print media query. So that, I think that would be really fun. Let's do it. Let's get a little detailed, right? Let's get a little detailed. And honestly, I don't, I feel like I do a thorough job building things out, but I feel like also there are lots of situations where I could be more detailed and more thorough, especially if I'm going to do a 4-page website. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot that you have to think about, especially if somebody's blogging, and open graph meta tags are important, if social media is important. That's not stuff that I spend a lot of time on, but is also really, really important. So like, let's take the time to dig into some of this stuff, right? So we've got Facebook, X, Pinterest, LinkedIn, email, and print. Yeah. And then the other thing that we are going to want to do here is let's get some brand colors and add them to our color palette. So let's grab Facebook. Here's the official Facebook blue color. Let's close some of these. I'm going to close this. All right, so there's Facebook. LinkedIn. We'll just grab the official blue LinkedIn. Pinterest. Is there a color for X? What color black is this? I mean, does X really use colors anymore? I feel like it's just black, right? It's not really, like the blue's kind of an accent. Yeah. OF1419. Oh, we'll grab this. There we go. So we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, X, and then we'll just do, we can do anything we want for the email and the print. That's obviously not brand specific. Let's fix up our page here, our layout. What's going on? So since our header is fixed, we'll make sure that the section blog has enough padding on top here. I think 8 is going to be good. Don't know if we need 8 on the bottom. So let's go down here. Let's start the blog here. Whoops. Blog page. So this is going to be the section blog, and we'll update the padding to be 8 rems on top, 1 rem on the left and right, 3 rems on the bottom. This will either need to be clamped or a media query. I'm not going to worry about it now. And then let's see what's going on here with our H1. So here's our H1. So again, we're going to use, this is a good idea to stick this blog class in here. So the blog primary heading. I don't have an underline here, so I think we can take that out. And that is a pseudo element. So we'll just, whoops. So we'll just say blog, primary heading, after, and we're just going to say content. I think we could just say none and that'll remove it, right? Yes, that's all we needed to do. And then we'll give it a little bit of margin on the top and bottom. We'll give it 1 rem of margin on the top and bottom. Maybe 2. There we go. And this image is pretty much just fitting the page. I'm not going to do anything with this image. I'm just going to let it be completely organic. Because I would want people to put in whatever image they want and have it be whatever the image is. So let's add a different image here. Also, I'm sorry, did I choose an image, like the actually correct image here? Those strikingly similar images, aren't they? Minus the pier. That's crazy. Okay. But just not to put too fine a point on it, but let's just try a different image just so you can see. We don't have to control everything, right? So let's say we put that image in. What is that? There we go. I don't know. Do we? Actually, yeah, we do kind of need to put some constraints on the images, don't we? Okay, that's fair. Let's do so let's let's put an aspect ratio on this. We are okay, well, Once again, I speak too soon. So we'll say the blog figure width 100%, height auto, aspect ratio. I want it to be square-ish. And this would be the blog figure. I'm going to get specific with this in case people are adding extra images to their blog posts. I would say width 100%, height 100%, object fit cover. Yeah. So now we are constraining this image regardless of what it is. And the focal point's always going to be the center of the image. So that's going to keep it really consistent. How does this look on a smaller screen? So let me see here. I mean, do we, I don't know. I'm going to have to sit with it. I like it, but admittedly, I'm just going to look in my, do we need to change the aspect ratio? Maybe we do. Yeah, we obviously have to change this padding on mobile. All right, so we're going to go with 16:9. As much as I love the idea, I think this is probably for the best. So, and then clearly our meta information is pretty small. That's because we resized the paragraph text. The best way to deal with that is, honestly, we could just, can't we just make, instead of a div, we could just make this a paragraph, right? Yeah. And then let's also make a class for centering text. Let's also make a class for centering text. That is the easiest way sometimes to deal with things. So I'm just going to go right here and we'll just say center, text align, center. One moment, hold please. Okay. And I'm just going to add center right here. Paragraph tags are block level elements, so you can text align center them. And then we can give this also a little bit of, well, I guess this is kind of pointless now because I am going to have to write. I'm going to have to put in margin, change the margin for that meta class. Margin What is our margin normally? Do we have separate margin? We just have font size for the paragraphs. So we'll say margin 1 rem on the top, 0 on the left and right, and 2 on the bottom. Yeah, I think that's fine. I want to do something a little different with this though. Can we like make it uppercase or something? Can we just give it a little zhuzh? Yeah, I like that. And then also, what if we made it a different color? I'm pretty sure our green color is accessible. And then maybe a little I like it. And then let's style this, our social. And you can see here, because I added styles to the SVGs, so now we know that the Facebook icon is a fill, the X icon is a stroke and a fill, the the pin, Pinterest, and the LinkedIn icons are both fill. The share and the email are stroke, but you can see here that there's an inline style we forgot to take out. So let's do that now. If you're having trouble styling your SVGs, check to see if they have an inline style, because you should be able to control the color of your SVGs using CSS. So right here, it says fill none stroke current color. We want to leave these attributes in, but for the stroke, we're going to take out the value current color. Same here, current color. And we'll just see if we have anything that says current color on the page. There's 3. We'll take those out. And now you can see that those default styles that we put in for SVGs, I find this incredibly helpful. So when you're doing your global styles for an SVG, I will put in just a random stroke and a random fill. And then I know, did I miss an SVG where I need to take out that inline style? What SVG has a fill? What SVG has a stroke? It's just really, really helpful. So down to our blog. Okay. So now let's do, this will be our social sharing section. And so I'm going to style using the sharing links class. Sharing links, SVG. Oh, and you know what? These SVGs are going to need a class so we can apply the correct colors. Okay. So we know that this is the Facebook class. I'm not using this Ionicon class, so let's just change this to Facebook. This is the X class, and this doesn't have a class, so I'm just going to add one, and I'm just going to say X. This is Pinterest, so I'll change this to Pinterest. This is LinkedIn. And then this is, I think this is email, and this is print. And we do not need to get that specific there. We'll just do this. We'll say Facebook. We know that that is a fill. Facebook. And then we've got the X. We know that this is a fill and a stroke. So I'm actually going to say stroke transparent fill var X. Then we've got Pinterest. And we know Pinterest is also a fill. And then we've got LinkedIn. We know that LinkedIn is a fill. And then we have our print and email. I'll combine these. Print and email. These are stroke. Although this print has like a little red dot. So there's a fill in there someplace. Maybe is the red dot to indicate like a printer with a, I don't know. So let's just do stroke. And I'm just going to make these black. There we go. All right. Although is it supposed to have a did I mean for this instead? Let's keep going. It's going to look different. I don't think I'm going to make them look like buttons. I'm going to make them look a little different. I literally didn't notice that until now. So I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. Okay. And how did I style my SVGs? Hopefully as block level elements. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do this UL class. So I'm mostly going to style using the UL, sharing links. Sharing links. So we have to take off the padding and the margin that the browser gives to unordered lists. And then we'll say list style type is none. I'm going to say display flex. Flex flow, row, no wrap. Justify content center, align items center, and then let's give this a gap of 2 rems and see how that looks. And then let's make sure that the word and the icon are lined up. So the sharing links LI, sharing links LI. I'm also going to say display flex flow, row, no wrap. Justify content center, align items center, and Maybe just a little bit of gap, like 0.5 rems. What? Oh, it's actually the anchor element. Not the li. There we go. What do we think? I kind of like it. The whole thing is clickable. There isn't really a hover state for the icon itself, but we could make a hover state for the icon itself. Let's like invert it. And then let's give it a little, obviously let's give it some space. Let's push it down and maybe give it kind of like a gray background too. It's going to be different from, this is for sure going to be different from the mock-up, obviously. So let's use the social sharing, the nav element as the main container. Social sharing. Let's give this some padding. We'll say 3 rems on the top and bottom, none on the left and right. And then let's give this a background color of our super light gray right here. Yeah, it's we might want to pull this out of that of this section. There we go. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And then let's make sure on hover, we're inverting. We'll invert these colors and then we'll invert these as well. So and Malik says, I like it. I want to see a dynamic list that shrinks and grows depending on the location of the mouse pointer. He's joking. So I love this. I think this looks perfect. I think these icons could be a little bit smaller though. So let's make our icons a teeny tiny bit smaller. So we'll say sharing links, SVG. We want to make sure that I'm also going to move these down. How do I want these to look? Okay, so let's do width 1.5 rems, height 1.5 rems, which means that what do we want the transition to be? If the SVG and the word is part of the link, what is the transition? Because is the whole thing, do we invert the whole thing and make the text and the SVG white and the background So let's see here what the actual shape of this is. I'm having trouble visualizing what the shape is. Okay. So here's the shape, literally right here. we save that, what is it? It's a little small. Yeah, I like that a little better. So here's the shape. And then if we gave the anchor element a little bit of padding, just to visualize here what maybe 0.25 rems all the way around, spaces it out a little bit. It's going to need to be more than that. You can kind of see there what the shape is with some padding. So if we invert, yeah, I think that'll work. So we'll put some padding here, 0.5 rems. We also need to make sure that this has a background color of transparent, so we know what we're transitioning. The link color itself is black. Let's take off the text decoration. I don't think we need the text decoration if we're going to do a hover. If we're going to do a background color change, we don't need to transition a text decoration. So we'll just say text decoration, none. This looks super slick. So far, I'm really into this. And then, okay, so we're going to transition the background color and the color. So let's put that in. So we'll say transition background color. Whoops. 300 milliseconds, ease in out, and the color. Also 300 milliseconds, ease in out. I don't know if we necessarily need to repeat the color, but I'm just gonna do it for the heck of it. And then we'll do a generic set of colors because we basically have two generic things here. So we have to do both. We have to do sharing links anchor and sharing links SVG. So we'll do this first. So this is going to be focus, hover, active, and we're going to transition the color. Oh, we're going to transition the background and the color. And we'll say background, color, and we'll just say black for now. So this will transition everything, and then we're going to do specific ones. And then, honestly, we don't even need print and email. We can just do these as like our kind of our generic. And then for this, we have to transition. We have to transition the stroke and the fill. We have to do both. Stroke, 300 milliseconds. Ease in out. Fill, 300 milliseconds. Ease in out. And then we have to actually define what it is. And this is going to be the sharing links anchor focus trigger the SVG. So this would be focus, hover, active. And then it would be, Well, for our generic, it's just going to be the fill, which we're going to transition to white. I don't know. We'll see if this works. I feel like it might. Okay, we're pretty close. Oh, probably this is stroke. Yeah. And I'm going to keep that little red dot. It's very charming. I think that little red dot is charming. I don't know. Can you see it? So we just have to do these other more specific ones now. And we can give these rounded corners. We can give these little rounded corners too. So we'll say border radius. There we go. And I think that this should have a little less padding on top and a little more padding on the left and right. There. Yes, I knew. I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about you, Malik. I don't think we need quite so much. We need a little bit of gap. We don't need that much gap. A lot of gap here. Why is there so much gap? Okay, hang on. That was the wrong thing. This right here. We don't need this much gap. There we go. Okay, now let's make sure that we have the transition color for each of these. So this is going to be we have to do this for no, we don't. Well, yes, we do, because we're transitioning the background. So we have to do this. So we do want these to, I want the background to be their brand color, and I want this to be, which means I think these, I have to just move these back up. I move these down. I think these just need to go back up. Right here. I have to think about this. Do we need both? There we go. And then this, I have to make sure though that this isn't getting the stroke and the fill. That's the problem. It's getting both. So I think maybe stroke none. This is where things do start to get a little verbose in vanilla. But it's okay. You know what I might do? Honestly, I think it's just going to be better to modify the SVG. So, stroke, it says stroke none. Can I put that here too? Just don't have a stroke. Literally, don't have a stroke. Oh, hang on. This is getting more specificity. That's why. So I think that we just have to add a little extra specificity here. So we'll do that. I don't think we're going to have to rewrite all of these to control the SVG, but I think we are going to... Oh, it's interesting. We're going to, you know what? In order to control the background, this class can't be on the SVG. Oh, and hang on, I'm not even looking at the right SVG right here. The class can't really be on the SVG. It's going to have to be on the anchor so I can control the background. Which is going to give me more specificity anyways, so that's okay. It's not a huge change. So let's make sure that I think with the okay. I got this. I'm going to put it on the parent container. We're so close. We're so close to being able to do exactly what I want to do. And then this would be the Facebook SVG, the X SVG, the Pinterest SVG, the LinkedIn SVG, and then we've got the sharing links SVG. Okay. mean, I could just do this. I don't think I've ever had to do this. It kind of solves my problem though, right? Okay, so then I need to, although if I'm going to do hover states for Facebook, X, and Pinterest, I don't need to do important. I can just re-specify the stroke as none, right? Yeah, I have to do it anyways, so. And it's actually sharing links a. See, this makes me think that I should put a class on the anchor because this is the li, but these are for the anchor. So is that that might be a better approach. So maybe instead of email and print, maybe we do something like sharing icon. Whoops. So then this could just be sharing icon. Sharing icon. Okay, and then we just do a focus hover active for each of these things. Except it wouldn't be the SVG, it would be the anchor element class. So this, honestly, yeah, so we would do so this is going to be Facebook. This is going to be X. And it's going to be Pinterest. And this would be LinkedIn. And if this seems really tedious to you, it's pretty reasonable to expect this level of detail. It really is. This level of detail is going to come up all the time. And we need to, I just don't feel comfortable doing important. Even though it would just solve all of my problems. Facebook, X, Pinterest. Okay, clearly we have a problem here. Oh, because I didn't change the names here. Okay, so Facebook, and then this is going to be X. Pinterest. LinkedIn. Facebook, X, Pinterest, LinkedIn, email, print. I mean, this is what I wanted. This is the look that I was trying to achieve. So, what do we think? What do we think? Malik says, stand strong, don't give in. Yeah, I don't think I'm giving in. I think it looks pretty good, actually. I'm happy with this. And we're almost at 2 hours. So timing's actually pretty good here today. You know what we could do, since we have like this black here, maybe for the default we use our green color, which is what we're using up here. Should we try it? So our default could be background black. I like it. I'm into it. Let's pull in these edges a little bit. Doesn't seem proportional to me. So we're doing, for padding, 1/3 of a rem on top and bottom, 3/4 of a rem on the left and right. Let's try this. There. Does that seem a little more proportional? It does to me. How much space do we have in between these? Half a rem. What if we just do 1/3? What is it with thirds today? And I think this is my first time in the entire time that I've been streaming. I do not use important hardly ever. I've worked on a lot of projects where I had to fix too many important declarations. Most I can undo and fix with a little specificity. Some I can't because it's just a can of worms I don't have time for. I am hard pressed to think of a time where I've used important in a fresh, new, clean build. But it seems appropriate here to me to use it. This seems like the one time when it's appropriate, although let's make sure, I mean, did I just not put it in the right spot? Let's try this because I was accidentally in the footer. So let's just try it and see if it's just a matter of putting in, where is it here? X. Stroke. Whoops. Maybe I was just doing this in the wrong spot. Stroke equals none. Do we need that? That was it. That fixed it. So we don't need this. We just had to add the attribute to the SVG, and I was looking at the X icon in the footer. So let's go back down here and fix this, because I also added this to the top level, which I don't think we need. Okay, good. Problem solved. I don't have to use that now. Listen, it exists for a reason. It's okay to use it if you need it, but clearly in this case, I was putting this attribute, the stroke none, in the wrong place. And that's all we needed. I love it. So tomorrow, let's actually do let's do MailChimp tomorrow. And let's actually work on the functionality for these sharing buttons. I don't think that we'll get all this functionality and sharing figured out in one day. Well, first of all, for the print, we're going to have to do a whole style sheet, right? Where we're eliminating things from the page in order to really print out the article. We're also going to need to test these things. So as we write these and figure out how that dynamic JavaScript looks, how we're capturing the information, there's lots of ways to do it. There's no one right way or wrong way. I can tell you now that I already know that my approach is going to be, since this isn't a true CMS, what I'm probably going to do is append. Well, we already have a URL, right? Which we need to make as part of the link for the sharing. So the social media site that you're sharing on knows which page to scrape. We're also going to, I have a feeling that on page load will grab the content inside the H1. And my instinct is to just make it, append it to the, like do it as an endpoint to the URL, and then we can grab. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I might even have to do a little homework before tomorrow to think about how I want to do it. But we also need to go and actually find the URL format for sharing, which I already have in my notes. I already know I have them in my notes, so I might go dig those out so we don't have to do all that tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need to use an API or load a script. All of these sites have a way to share, and it's just a series of endpoints. That's all it is for a URL. So it's just a matter of dynamically capturing usually the title and the URL of the page. That's the main thing. And then this is also why our Open Graph meta tags are so important, because as social media sites are scraping, it's going to look for these Open Graph meta tags, which means that we may want to make this dynamic too, right? Like maybe we write JavaScript that is grabbing that info from the page. That's exciting. Yes. I think it would look nice with some shadows on the buttons when hovered. Sorry, buddy. I gave you rounded corners. You don't get shadows. No can do. do we think? Whoops. Gosh. Okay, hang on. Right button. Everybody, do me a favor. If you haven't yet, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you're not already. I would appreciate it so much. I'm here 4 days a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, I missed a couple days this last week because I have a sick pup. But we're on the mend. Everybody's doing really well. So, also go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My content on Instagram, I would say, is dev adjacent. I enjoy doing lifestyle content, things like that. So if you're interested in more of like lifestyle type things, the things I'm cooking, things I'm doing around the house, stuff like that, go ahead and follow me over there. Also, that's a good place to get in touch with me if you want to reach out and talk about anything related to front end or whatever. I will say this. I'm just gonna throw this out there. If you come into my DMs and you're being a little bit gross, I'm probably not going to respond at all. So I've had a little bit of that. I had a little flood of that, actually, of like kind of lewd DMs. So if I see any of that, I'm probably not going to engage too much with that, if at all. But if you're chill and you just want to connect and you have questions about front end, go ahead. Instagram DMs are a great place to do that. I'm doom scrolling basically every single day anyways, so you might as well. And Malik says, what? Yeah, I gave you rounded corners. That's it, my friend. I gave you rounded corners. So everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Come back tomorrow, Sunday, February 8th. We're going to continue to work on these social sharing buttons. We'll also hook up that subscription form to MailChimp and we'll get that working. All right, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.